Hey, police brutality sucks, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to do an album review on the latest Lady Gaga album, Chromatica. So, yeah. Lady Gaga, one of the most famous pop singers ever, she's back with Chromatica. And I've actually never covered any of her albums on this channel before. I've briefly talked about Joanne, released in I think 2017, which I think is not a bad album despite Lady Gaga venturing off from, dance pop to something more singer-songwriter-ish. In fact, the ballad Million Reasons is one of my favorite ballads of the decade. But way before that, we have albums like Born This Way and Art Pop, and they're only decent at best, while Lady Gaga had some really catchy, awesome, sticky, pop, smash hits. There are also a lot of misses in those albums. I mean, after 2017's Joanne, she went on to make A Star Is Born with Bradley Cooper. It's not an album, it's a movie. And if you remember correctly, initially I did give this movie a slightly positive, not slightly actually, quite positive review, even though this movie didn't age well for me. I thought it's actually kind of boring overall. Yeah, A Star Is Born. And then afterwards, we have Chromatica in 2020, where she actually returns to her, dance pop roots. And actually, on this album, not only does she return to her dance pop roots, but she very much pays homage to the 90s disco dance pop with the house beats, the strong house beats, and the synths and the beat drops and the Madonna Vogue spoken word. It's a very 90s album. So, yeah. The album starts off with the track Alice, which is actually a pretty fantastic opening for the album. It has the very sweet, shimmery, shining at your face production. The vocals are over the top, they are just soaring in the skies. Then we have the beats, the bouncy house kicks, they are fantastic. And then we have the lyrics. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. The lyrics on this album are the worst thing about this album. Some of the best sounding tracks on this album have terrible lyrics. But since they sound really good, I mean, I can't really hate it or anything. But the lyrics on this track, my name is not Alice, but I'm still looking for Wonderland. I really don't know what does that mean, but anyways, we have the second track, Stupid Love, which is actually a single released earlier this year in 2020. I want your stupid love, and it's just okay. The lyrics, it's awful. But instrumentally, it's actually not bad. I like the driving kicks, the sequenced synths sound really good. The chopped up samples sound a little redundant. The verses and the choruses, they aren't really all that special or catchy or anything. But I think overall the track isn't terrible when you don't consider the lyrics. And then we have the track Rain on Me featuring none other than Ariana Grande. And it's also just okay of a song. Again, it's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's good. I think the verses and the choruses are pretty tame. I don't think Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande have that much chemistry together. The over-the-top music video isn't really that great. And the way Lady Gaga says, Rain on me before the beat drop. Yeah. it's just a little too much maybe. Anyways, we have we have the track Free Woman, which lyrically it's pretty self-explanatory. It's about, being a free woman. And this song has a slightly lower energy than other tracks on this album, relatively. And even though instrumentally it's still pretty good, I wouldn't say it's all that much different from tracks like Stupid Love or later on 1000 Doves, or Plastic Doll. Actually, a lot of the songs on this album sound pretty similar. I kind of wish that there is more versatility worked into this album. Same goes for the next track, Fun Tonight, which is a song about having fun tonight. And it just feels like the same track as Free Woman. Maybe the energy is even lower. And the beat of this track, it's not the, bouncy, punchy house hit kicks. It's the very distant drums. And at a few points on the track, Lady Gaga's vocals almost sounds like it's trying to imitate the modern pop vocals cliche, except she's not really mastering it really well. However, the next track, 911, is definitely a highlight on this album, both instrumentally and lyrically. Instrumentally, it's a standout on this album. It's not your, average house, dance, pop, disco track, because this track is extra robotic. It sounds very electronic. The vocals are very stiff. They're very rigid in an eccentric way, in a way it actually stands out. The verses and the choruses, they are absolutely catchy. And the lyrics, they are about self-loathing, self-hatred. The next track, Plastic Doll, is obviously about a track, it's about objectification. And, Lady Gaga talks about how she feels like she's being played, she feels like she's a doll. However, I must admit, in the intro, the vocals are pretty rigid. And the chord progression of this track overall is also pretty rigid. It doesn't change much from the verses and the choruses. They're pretty similar. However, next up we have Sour Candy featuring Blackpink, a very special track. And so this track is a really chill synth pop track, more chill than many other tracks here. The energy level is certainly lowered, but we get this almost like it kind of for some reason kind of reminds me of Britney Spears Toxic, but we get this very cold-blooded synth in the back, sort of bouncing around. Again, we get the house beats, and again, it features Blackpink. And I'm gonna be honest here, I've never really listened to Blackpink before. This is actually my first time. And initially, after I listened to the song, I was like, okay, did only one member perform on this track? So I checked Genius. Apparently, all four members also sang, but I just couldn't tell because they all sound the same. So I gave it a few more repeated listens, and I start to notice some difference, but I still don't think there are any major differences between the vocals of all four of the members. I know that for Lisa, she does this thing like this sour candy, and she would do that in every single sentence, like I'm sour candy. Yeah, the lyrics, they're hilarious. Of course, since this song is about candy, Lady Gaga would sing like "Come, come, unwrap me," and then we have I'm hard on the outside, sweet in the inside, like it's about candy, so I'm hard on the outside, but it just sounds weirder, without the context of this song, singing that you're hard on the outside. It's a little weird. But it's still one of the better songs on the album. The next track, Enigma, is also a highlight for me. The vocals on this track, they are huge. They are epic. They are loud and bold, and not so much it's ridiculous, but just enough to be just very epic. And I actually really like the chord progressions on this track. They sound like this very strong, shiny, sunshine at your face, dawn, refreshing morning vibes. And the next track, Replay, is easily my favorite song on the entire album. It's not only is it the catchiest, but also the beat drop, the instrumental bit after the chorus. Oh yeah, it's amazing. We get waves of strings and distorted vocals and synthesizers all, crashing in front of your face in a very colorful way. The chord progression of this track is really slick, and I really, really like the song overall. And immediately afterwards, we have a huge letdown, and that is a Sine from Above. Sine from Above, featuring none other than Sir Elton John. And yeah, it's a really disappointing song. It's just a smooth ballad overall, but if you look closer into the instrumentals, the weird plucky intro, the way it jarringly transitions into an EDM beat, and at the end, the random break beat that just came out of nowhere is just really unnatural. You know what's more unnatural is Elton John's vocals. I mean, come on, Elton John he's the Rocket Man, and he sounds really thin on this track, and he has no chemistry with Lady Gaga, and it's not even his fault. He's a great musician. The second to last track, 1000 Doves, is another just okay track. The singing, wow. Lady Gaga sings really hard on this track. Like, she really sang really hard on this track. And the bridge of this track is just so over the top. It's really campy. And the album ends off with Babylon, which is actually instrumentally really awesome. It's a very summery, fun, catchy dance pop tune. The pianos on this thing are shimmery. I also really like how Lady Gaga would, half spoken word, half sing the song, like she's Madonna, voguing. But then we have the lyrics again. This song is about gossip. So it's Babylon. But yeah, overall, I think the album is not bad, not at all. There are a few tracks here and there that just sound kind of stale, kind of, within the ballpark, kind of by the numbers. A lot of the lyrics on this album are pretty dumb. But I think there are also a handful of highlights on this album. And yeah, my favorite track here is Replay. My least favorite track here is Sine from Above. I am giving Lady Gaga's Chromatica a strong 6 out of 10. So, have you listened to the latest Lady Gaga album? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I will be reviewing the latest Perfume Genius, KSI, Jeff Rosenstock, Freddie Gibbs of The Alchemist, Natalia Lafourcade. I will review the Run the Jewels 4 as soon as possible. Also, the Proto Martyr album as soon as possible. Backwash. And yeah, more Pink Floyd upcoming. Thanks for watching.